Alone now, Sungyoon faces a critical decision regarding the absorption of a human soul. Upon discovering this ability previously, he had deferred the choice, aware that crossing such a line would be irreversible. After contemplation, Sungyoon reaches a resolution. He acknowledges the necessity of becoming stronger but refuses to resort to taking lives to achieve it. However, he remains open to the possibility of doing so if circumstances demand it. His aspiration to become a hunter has reignited other internal desires within him. The opportunity presented by the Tower of Trials is one he intends to seize. Sungyoon is determined to continue progressing through the challenges the tower presents. Upon entering the lobby of the 5th floor, Sungyoon encountered an expanded system, the Trial Totalization. This new system would grade every challenger's rank. Sungyoon was prompted to enter an alias, and his name was changed from Han Sungyoon to simply Hunter. Upon checking the rankings for the 4th floor trial, Sungyoon was surprised to find himself ranked 16th, a much higher position than he had anticipated. Challengers in the top 50 would be designated as pioneers. Those with this title would receive benefits upon reaching the 8th floor. If Sungyoon maintained his status as a pioneer until the 8th floor, he would be granted a privilege known as a halo. Curious about what this entailed, Sungyoon speculated whether it was a skill of some sort, but he resolved to wait and see what it involved when he reached that stage. Having absorbed the souls of the 3 challengers and the Goblin King he defeated, Sungyoon now felt as though he had surpassed the limits of a human. With this newfound strength, he decided to purchase a return stone. This magical item would allow him to return to his origin for a span of 3 days. Curious about whether he could bring his equipment with him, Sungyoon activated the return stone. As the magic took hold, he prepared to return to Earth. As Sungyoon returned to his residence, the first thing he desired was to sleep, yet the stench of his body made him reconsider. Opting to wash up instead, he was taken aback when he accidentally stumbled upon a shield in his room. His amazement grew as he realized that bringing items from the Tower of Trials back to Earth was indeed possible. This revelation sparked thoughts about the implications. If other challengers could also bring items back, the availability of goods on Earth would increase. Sungyoon foresaw a future where returning challengers flooded the market with items, potentially causing prices for hunter supplies to plummet. Sungyoon resolved to sell the items as soon as possible. However, a hurdle stood in his way. Only individuals possessing the hunter qualification were eligible to sell items. Originally, Sungyoon had intended to apply for the hunter exam upon his return to Earth, intending to take the test at the earliest opportunity. Sungyoon picked up his phone and dialed Director Wong of the White Lotus Hunter Training Center. Expecting a request for a refund of membership fees, Director Wong was surprised when Sungyoon expressed otherwise. Sungyoon assured him that he didn't require a refund but instead asked for a favor. Sungyoon requested Director Wong's assistance in taking the hunter test. Wong reminded Sungyoon of his previous test results, which ranked him as an F, the lowest possible score. Undeterred, Sungyoon proposed compensating Director Wong if he could help him. Wong replied that he had no intention of refusing if Sungyoon provided the money. After sealing the deal, Sungyoon asked Wong to assist him in taking the hunter test on the same day. After taking a bath, Sungyoon noticed significant changes in his body as a result of his progression. Exiting his room, he encountered his neighbor and exchanged greetings before heading out. Sungyoon's neighbor expressed surprise at his newfound height. Outside, Sungyoon attempted to hail a taxi but faced difficulty in doing so. Opting for an alternative, he decided to test his speed by running to his destination. At the Hunter Association, Sungyoon entered the building to find Director Wong waiting for him. Sungyoon greeted him with a "long time no see," to which Director Wong chuckled, remarking that it hadn't been that long. Sungyoon explained that he had been preoccupied with some unusual matters lately, which made it feel like it had been a while. Inspector Kim In-hyu, responsible for grading the hunter test, then approached Sungyoon. Due to Director Wong's presence as an observer, Sungyoon was exempt from the theory test and interview. As Sungyoon was already familiar with the test procedures, they decided to begin the test immediately. Director Wong instructed Inspector Kim to ensure that Sungyoon failed the test promptly. As a result, Inspector Kim arranged for the most challenging opponents suitable for a sword user. When Sungyoon was asked to select the difficulty level of the test, he was given the choice between level 1 and level 10. Sungyoon had consistently chosen the level 1 test in previous attempts, always losing to a goblin due to his perceived weakness. Director Wong's expectation was completely overturned when Sungyoon confidently selected difficulty level 10, contrary to what was anticipated. Surprised by Sungyoon's bold choice, Director Wong found himself taken aback. Sungyoon met his gaze with a confident smile, radiating an air of determination and self-assuredness, leaving Director Wong momentarily stunned by Sungyoon's unexpected decision. As the test commenced, Sungyoon faced the daunting challenge of hunting down the phoenix to pass. However, Director Wong had meticulously arranged obstacles to hinder his success. Sungyoon's movement was curtailed by 25% due to the debilitating effects of the ability, Predator's Roar. Moreover, Director Wong had sabotaged Sungyoon's weapon, ensuring its ineffectiveness. Director Wong harbored a desire to teach Sungyoon a harsh lesson, intending to demonstrate the consequences of overstepping his bounds. Wong Mano, one of the successful applicants of the hunter qualification test, initially felt like he was at the top of the world upon becoming a hunter. However, as time passed, he found himself unable to keep pace with his colleagues, ultimately falling behind. Faced with the reality of the hunter world, where talent seemed paramount, he succumbed to the belief that hard work was futile. Convinced that humans tend to give up when confronted with insurmountable obstacles, Wong projected his own experience onto Sungyoon, wishing for him to abandon his aspirations as well. As Sungyoon attempted to block the phoenix with his sword, the weapon suddenly shattered. Recognizing that even a low-grade weapon shouldn't break so easily, Sungyoon realized that something was amiss. With an evil smile, Wong watched as Sungyoon grappled with his broken sword, wondering how he would fare with such a handicap. To Wong's surprise, Sungyoon saw an opportunity in the situation. Utilizing the skill he obtained in the 4th floor trial, instant acceleration, Sungyoon swiftly ascended to the ceiling, drawing closer to the phoenix. As the phoenix conjured a fireball, Sungyoon leapt towards it, aiming to stab its eye. However, realizing his blade was too short, Sungyoon improvised, grabbing a tile from the floor and hurling it at the phoenix with precision, reminiscent of a scene from Volts 5. The tile sliced through the air, directly targeting the phoenix's head. The sudden turn of events left Wong stunned, unable to comprehend the swift and calculated actions of Sungyoon. As the test concluded, the system congratulated Sungyoon for his victory over the phoenix. With a laugh, Sungyoon casually inquired about the well-being of Director Wong, expressing his surprise at the unexpected trajectory of the tile. Following the exam, Sungyoon was officially granted his hunter's license and registered with the Hunter Association. Now equipped with the authority of a licensed hunter, Sungyoon gained access to various opportunities, including entering dungeons and selling items. In the adjacent room, Director Wong confronted Mr. Kim, demanding an explanation for Sungyoon's unexpected success. He instructed Mr. Kim to ensure that Sungyoon failed within 10 seconds and not pass him under any circumstances. Mr. Kim defended their efforts, stating that they had done everything possible to prevent Sungyoon from succeeding. Additionally, Director Wong expressed a desire to lower Sungyoon's rank slightly, but Mr. Kim pointed out the absurdity of such a request, considering Sungyoon's remarkable feat of defeating a monster in just 10 seconds. Moments later, Sungyoon entered the room, announcing that he had obtained his hunter license. Sungyoon approached Director Wong, noting his uneasy demeanor, and inquired if something was amiss. With a forced laugh, Director Wong congratulated Sungyoon on his achievement. Sensing an opportunity, Sungyoon probed if Director Wong's previous rank before retirement had been a C rank. Upon clarification, Sungyoon reminded Director Wong of the time he had labeled him a failure. With unwavering conviction, Sungyoon boldly asserted that he believed Director Wong to be the true failure. As anticipated, Sungyoon's provocation triggered Director Wong's anger, leading him to attempt a punch. However, Sungyoon effortlessly dodged the attack and retaliated with a counter to the stomach. Seeing it as self-defense, Sungyoon delivered a sharp slap to Director Wong's face as payback. Stunned by Sungyoon's swift and precise movements, Director Wong marveled at the power displayed by someone of a mere C rank. Outside the building, Mr. Kim extended an enticing offer to Sungyoon, proposing an exclusive partnership with the association. Recognizing Sungyoon's potential, Mr. Kim assured him of a generous salary and benefits. However, Sungyoon expressed suspicion, believing that the association had manipulated the test difficulty. While he acknowledged their efforts, Sungyoon emphasized the importance of trust in any partnership. Resolute in his decision, Sungyoon declined Mr. Kim's offer, explaining that he couldn't enter into a contract with someone he couldn't trust. 2 days later, rumors of a peculiar phenomenon, wherein hunters were being summoned to the Tower of Trials, began to circulate widely. With this information now public knowledge, Sungyoon seized the opportunity to sell his equipment at a decent price. Utilizing the 3 days productively, Sungyoon made necessary preparations for his return to the Tower of Trials. Sungyoon, as expected, found himself able to freely use his items both within the Tower of Trials and in the real world. He carefully stowed away the stone in his inventory before rising from his bed, only to be greeted by the achievement, the first returner, and the creation of a new skill, Eyes of the Truth. This skill granted Sungyoon the ability to discern the details of anything and determine the truth of a person's words, a power that proved invaluable in his pursuits. Empowered with his new skill, Sungyoon proceeded to purchase a new sword and shield, albeit at a hefty price. The sword boasted a desirable bonus effect, providing a 10% chance of paralyzing opponents upon striking them. Determined to conquer the 5th floor's trial, dubbed Hunt, Sungyoon ventured forth with a remaining time of 1 day. The pass condition: defeat the wolf person, the boss of the Wolf Gorge, under penalty of death for failure. Upon reaching the designated location, Sungyoon found himself surrounded by a pack of wolves, who wasted no time in attacking him. However, with swift and precise movements, Sungyoon dispatched them all in an instant, setting off a chain reaction that culminated in the defeat of the larger wolves. Overcome with excitement, Sungyoon reveled in the thrill of battle, questioning his own sanity as he relished each victory. Following the battle, Sungyoon's Hunter Dagger skill rose to E rank, and his Fast Recovery skill to D rank, marking the conclusion of his 3rd hunt. Collecting the spirits of the fallen wolves to bolster his necromancy skill, Sungyoon pressed on with his journey, only to stumble upon the corpses of more wolves, their wounds bearing the telltale marks of a sword. Utilizing his Eyes of the Truth skill, Sungyoon detected traces of aura associated with the wounds, prompting him to ponder the mysteries surrounding the Tower of Trials. Moments later, he was drawn to a nearby scream and discovered a cave, from which an intruder was expelled, resulting in the fulfillment of the trial's pass conditions. However, the system's analysis revealed the presence of an interdimensional intruder in Sungyoon's trial, prompting a modification to the trial's goal: kill the intruder. Bewildered by this revelation, Sungyoon pondered the implications of an existence from another dimension within the Tower of Trials, questioning the nature of the trials and their connection to other dimensions. The intruder, equally surprised by Sungyoon's survival, taunted him, questioning his silence in the face of death's horror. Undeterred, Sungyoon faced the intruder with resolve, ready to confront whatever challenges lay ahead in this mysterious realm. Sungyoon hadn't anticipated another challenger attempting to usurp his trial objective, but he was relieved when no message declaring his failure appeared. The intruder, misinterpreting Sungyoon's silence as fear, launched an attack. Thinking quickly, Sungyoon utilized the dead body of the wolfman as a makeshift shield, kicking it toward the intruder to momentarily obstruct their vision. Seizing the opportunity, Sungyoon launched a surprise attack from behind, only to find the intruder's armor impenetrable. In retaliation, the intruder swung their sword with tremendous force, shattering Sungyoon's shield and sending him hurtling into the rocks. The impact left Sungyoon with a broken hand. The intruder was surprised that Sungyoon was able to block his aura. Sungyoon then inquired of his enemy what he meant by intrude. The intruder realized that Sungyoon didn't know about class invading. Sungyoon then wondered why these things were happening during his trials. The intruder told Sungyoon that he would finish it now and stop dragging it on. However, Sungyoon told him to wait. He asked his enemy if he could explain what class invading is. Surprisingly, the intruder granted Sungyoon's request, thinking that Sungyoon was going to die soon. From the 8th floor, there's a system expansion called Class Invading. In the store, you can purchase an invading ticket and interfere in other people's trials. Upon hearing the intruder refer to this as a barbaric dimension, Sungyoon inquired of his enemy if he came from another world. The intruder asked Sungyoon where else he thought he came from. Sungyoon then activated the skill, eyes of the truth, and confirmed that the targeted person was telling the truth. The intruder became enraged by Sungyoon's actions. Perceiving them as judgmental, Sungyoon then teased him, asking what he was going to do about it. The intruder grew furious that a barbarian dared to speak to him in such a manner. Since Sungyoon had obtained the necessary information, he revealed to his enemy that the pain in his arm was quite bearable due to his pain-resistance skill. In other words, he wasn't holding it because of the pain. If he let go of his arm like so, his skill, fast recovery, would automatically heal it. He had to act helpless so that the intruder would give him the information he needed. The intruder told Sungyoon that if that was his full strength, then the fact that he would die wouldn't change. But Sungyoon asked what he should do. His full strength would keep on increasing. Sungyoon used all the evil spirits he possessed, causing his stats to permanently increase. He also activated the exclusive effect of his assassin's cape to boost his movement speed by 15%, along with the skill, instant acceleration. The intruder became frantic, wondering how a fifth-floor challenger could possess so many skills. Sungyoon started to dash towards his enemy, attacking with incredible speed. Despite being on the fifth floor, where stat restrictions were severe, the enemy grew annoyed with Sungyoon and applied aura to his sword. The intruder then attempted to stab Sungyoon and sliced everything around him. Sungyoon knew it would be dangerous if he were hit by the high-rank aura skill, but he was confident in his ability to avoid a critical hit due to his superior stats. The real issue lay with the intruder's armor, a high-rank equipment that Sungyoon couldn't destroy with his current abilities. However, every time he struck with his thundersword, there was a 10% chance of paralyzing the target. And that was the moment Sungyoon had been waiting for. After a fierce confrontation, Sungyoon successfully incapacitated the intruder. Reflecting on the outcome, Sungyoon acknowledges the potential difficulty if his adversary's armor had resistance to paralysis, but he's relieved that his gamble paid off. Despite the intruder's attempts to rise, his body remains unresponsive. Contemplating the situation, the intruder grapples with the disbelief that, under normal circumstances, victory should have been his. He wonders how a mere fifth-floor challenger could possess such a multitude of skills. As Sungyoon moved to deliver the final blow, the intruder pleaded for a moment to offer answers to Sungyoon's inquiries. Dismissing the offer, Sungyoon asserted that he had no need for explanations and swiftly dispatched the adversary. With each encounter, Sungyoon finds himself growing increasingly desensitized to the act of killing. However, he recognizes that if he were to feel discomfort with each life taken, it would signify a much larger issue at hand. After successfully conquering the fifth floor of the Tower of Trials, Sungyoon received congratulations from the system. As he observed the intruder's aura slowly dissipating, Sungyoon suddenly absorbed the orb spirit from the fallen foe. This unexpected event boosted his proficiency by a significant 15%, although he almost missed the opportunity to absorb the soul entirely. Contemplating the implications of death in another dimension, Sungyoon pondered whether individuals would simply vanish upon passing away. Additionally, he wondered why the anticipated reward message had not yet appeared. The system clarified that the trial's difficulty did not directly correlate with the rewards, thus necessitating modifications to all rewards. To Sungyoon's surprise, he acquired the skill 3 Lacerations, with an impressive A rank, alongside a total of 11,000 points. He noted that the anticipated C rank reward had been substituted with an A rank equivalent. The unexpected shift in the trial's original difficulty served as a testament to the true strength of the intruder knight. Despite the surprise, Sungyoon couldn't help but feel a surge of excitement upon obtaining the coveted A-grade skill. Moments later, as Sungyoon stepped into the lobby of the 6th floor, his information had been promptly filled out on the leaderboard. As Sungyoon contemplated the possibility of a dimensional invasion, he acknowledged the need to remain vigilant within the Tower of Trials. Despite his initial desire to save his question voucher for later floors, he recognized the urgency of his inquiries and decided to utilize it. Directing his query towards the nature of a floor invasion and whether he could be alerted immediately upon its occurrence, Sungyoon awaited a response. Moments later, a reply to his question arrived. The system elaborated that a floor invasion allows challengers to intrude upon another's trial within the first 10 classes, excluding special combined trials. However, Sungyoon learned that this feature becomes accessible only upon reaching the 8th floor, rendering it currently unavailable to him. In his attempt to gather information about a climbing breaker, Sungyoon encountered a limitation, as the system informed him that such details couldn't be disclosed at his current floor level. Additionally, he realized that only the first part of his question had received a response, highlighting the inherent limitations of the question voucher. With time to spare before facing the trial of the 6th floor, Sungyoon decided to make use of the remarkable items he had acquired from Earth. Utilizing Kroken's Magic Tower's restoration box, he successfully restored Secretive Hunter's shield, pleasantly surprised by the box's efficiency surpassing his expectations. Additionally, he used a cleaning stone to refresh himself, feeling satisfied that the item had not gone to waste. Taking a moment to peruse the trial leaderboard and the community board, Sungyoon was astonished to discover that he now held the 3rd position in the ranking for the 5th floor, a significant leap from his previous 16th place. This newfound progress prompted Sungyoon to ponder whether he was edging closer to reaping the benefits of becoming a continuous pioneer. As Sungyoon perused the community board, his eyes caught a startling listing. Someone was selling a skill known as psychological resistance. Touted as a tool to facilitate acts of murder, pillaging, and betrayal. The seller claimed that possessing this skill would enable individuals to accomplish such nefarious deeds while also promising substantial rewards. As Sungyoon read the current chats, he observed chaos unfolding. It seemed like this place was just chaotic and disorderly. He wondered what exactly was happening. A psychological resistance skill that was actively being sold caught his attention. Although the allure of its effect, negating psychological shock, was enticing, Sungyoon couldn't help but see it as a double-edged sword. Continuously relying on the skill to erase psychological pain might seem beneficial, but it could also lead to unforeseen problems. Another post mentioned that the individual who provided them with information about the 4th floor had changed his nickname to Princess Sudi. He was the challenger who had disrupted the atmosphere in the 4th floor's lobby, and Sungyoon remembered feeling like he had purposely fueled everyone's competitiveness. Sungyoon thought that perhaps this time was no different. He then closed the community chats, keeping the name, Princess Sudi, in mind for the time being. With resolve coursing through him, Sungyoon embarked on the 6th floor's trial, which bore the objective of conquering within a time limit of 50 minutes. The pass condition was to capture one of the surrounding tiles within the allotted time. The trial rewards included a randomly picked box, while the penalty for failure was death. Upon entering the 6th floor, which was situated in the ocean this time, Sungyoon received notification from the system that his teammate allocation had been completed and that he needed to cooperate with his teammate to complete the trial. However, Sungyoon wondered why his teammate hadn't emerged yet. He speculated that they might be sleeping, but his assumptions were shattered when he was surprised to see a spear pointed at him emerging from the portal. Reacting swiftly, Sungyoon dodged the attack, grabbed the spear, and threw the wielder to the ground. He couldn't believe that his teammate was attacking him and immediately inquired about their actions. His teammate coldly informed him that Sungyoon would understand if he looked at the community board. According to them, murdering was the easiest way to obtain achievements. Sungyoon sought clarification, questioning whether killing a teammate didn't matter as long as one could obtain power. His teammate laughed and pointed out the reality around them, where other teams were attacking their own teammates to gain achievements. His teammate then asked Sungyoon if he now understood and mockingly called him a hypocrite. Some challengers opted to fight their teammates, while others chose to combine their strength. One individual was relieved to meet someone who shared his mindset. However, as he extended his hand to shake his teammates, he was suddenly stabbed while caught off guard. Cluelessly shaking hands without a second thought, he found himself unable to reach for his sword. After killing her teammate, she acquired the achievement, Dirty Murderer, and her durability increased by 1. Sungyoon witnessed the event, and his teammate asked Sungyoon if he also wanted the achievement. While Sungyoon was observing the others, his teammate saw this as an opening and attempted to attack Sungyoon again. However, with incredible speed, Sungyoon easily dodged the attack and swiftly eliminated his teammate. As a result, Sungyoon acquired the achievement, Traitor, and his strength increased by 1. Sungyoon labeled him as weak. To him, a special trial, a combined trial, though these terms were broad, felt no different from an event. Moreover, there was the opportunity to enhance the proficiency of a unique trait, and if he was lucky, a chance to acquire an amazing skill. Sungyoon wouldn't actively seek to kill other challengers, but he also wouldn't hesitate to defend himself against those who attacked him. One of the challengers cast a skill called Iron Dome. He believed that this trial was tailored for someone like him who knew how to use water attribute magic. However, a few seconds later, he noticed Sungyoon approaching him at an intense speed. Sungyoon then jumped and kicked the Iron Dome, causing the caster to laugh, thinking it was indestructible like a bulletproof shield. To his surprise, Sungyoon was able to destroy it and deliver a powerful kick directly to him. It was a bit cruel, but he realized that by doing this, he could instill fear in the other challengers. Honestly speaking, Sungyoon does want achievements, but he doesn't want to commit unnecessary murder. The process of capturing the tile is currently underway. If a member from another team steps on the tile, the capturing will be halted. Thus, Sungyoon needs to prevent enemies from capturing his tiles. He just needs to endure for 10 minutes on this tile. Sungyoon pondered whether the high-ranking challengers who hadn't used a return stone on the 5th floor must have already completed the 6th floor. Given that they immediately challenged this floor afterward, he noticed that most of the challengers around him were of low rank, which might explain why this task seemed easy for him. The trial of the 6th floor stirred up a multitude of thoughts within Sungyoon. He contemplated the concept of distrusting others, confronted the harsh reality faced by low-ranking challengers, and acknowledged the inherent gloominess of the Tower of Trials. However, he also realized that misplaced compassion could be construed as genuine hypocrisy. Even if he chose to spare the challengers who came at him and redirected them to another tile, the grim truth remained: someone would inevitably meet their demise. Moments later, the system notified Sungyoon that someone had invaded his tile, causing the capturing process to halt. 4 challengers had stepped onto Sungyoon's tile. One of them asked Sungyoon if he wondered why there were 4 people present when it was supposed to be a 2-person team trial. Sungyoon replied that it was obvious just by looking at them. It was clear that 4 gangsters had formed a murderer party to earn achievements. They confirmed that Sungyoon's assessment was correct, and one of them flashed a sinister smile. 2 of the 4 opponents then began to attack, prompting Sungyoon to prepare to defend himself. One of Sungyoon's opponents, Kim Jin-hyun, cast a skill called Heart Solidarity on Sungyoon. This skill enabled Kim Jin-hyun's pain to be shared with Sungyoon. Immediately after activating the skill, Jin-hyun abruptly stabbed his own hand. Consequently, Sungyoon's hand also suffered damage, causing him to release his weapon. Fortunately, Sungyoon possessed a skill called Pain Resistance, which reduced all types of pain by 15%. The bald guy then poured a pail of seawater on Sungyoon. Touching the water from the trial caused his strength, agility, and stamina to decrease by 10, with the penalty lasting for 3 minutes. This revelation surprised Sungyoon, as he had just discovered the existence of such a penalty for touching the water. He reflected that this could be the worst scenario, if he were a normal challenger, that is. The plan to steal weapons in order to lower their stats as much as possible seemed quite effective. However, Sungyoon informed his enemies that they had made a grave mistake by choosing the wrong opponent. He swiftly grabbed one of them by the face and slammed him into the ground. The spectacle left the 3 remaining enemies in shock. Sungyoon suddenly acquired the achievement, 1 hit, 1 kill, and a new skill, Extinction of the Weak, manifested. This skill's effect was straightforward. If any of the user's stats surpassed those of the opponent, the user's strength would increase proportionally. The bald guy attempted to attack Sungyoon from behind, but Sungyoon easily dodged the strike and swiftly launched a counterattack using his knee. Connecting with the bald guy's face, Sungyoon followed up with another powerful slam-dunk attack to the bald guy's head. As a result of this decisive action, Sungyoon acquired the achievement, Merciless Murderer, and his agility increased by 1. With only 2 opponents left, Sungyoon slowly approached them. Kim Jin-hyun then asked his comrade what they should do next. To his surprise, his comrade took drastic action by cutting off one of his own feet with a sword, knowing that the pain experienced by Kim Jin-hyun would also affect Sungyoon's body. Due to their shared pain through the Heart Solidarity skill, Sungyoon and Jin-hyun were essentially experiencing each other's pain, although thankfully, it didn't cause actual damage to Sungyoon. However, the pain was severely restricting Sungyoon's movements. The yellow-haired guy warned Sungyoon to stay back, threatening to slit Jin-hyun's throat if he approached any closer. Despite the pain he was experiencing, Sungyoon's resistance allowed him to continue moving, though with difficulty. As Sungyoon had anticipated, this was the only viable option. Utilizing the heart solidarity connection, he resolved to dispatch the remaining challengers swiftly. Thus, Sungyoon made the grim decision to eliminate Jinhyun with his own hands. While Sungyoon is enduring the shared pain, the yellow-haired guy seized the opportunity to kill Sungyoon. However, Sungyoon managed to disarm him and held the sword with his bare hands. With a chilling calmness, Sungyoon conveyed the exhilarating sensation of slitting someone's throat and provocatively offered the yellow-haired guy the opportunity to experience it as well. Realizing his grim fate, the yellow-haired guy found himself unable to do anything but laugh nervously. Taking advantage of the moment, Sungyoon forcefully shattered the yellow-haired guy's sword and swiftly used it to decapitate him.